Hey there, welcome back to the DrumShed, or welcome to the DrumShed if this is your first time coming across one of my videos. I'm so grateful you're here, and today is a part 2 in a video called, I think I called it Developing Single-Stroke Accents. So this is the second part of that. In video number 1, part 1, which I'll put the link here or here, I think here, in part 1, we used 8th notes and 16th notes, and we added some accents to that. In part 2 today, we're going to use 8th note triplets and 16th note triplets, but we're going to be using the same principles that we covered in part 1. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, or if you did see it but you didn't really work on it, or you don't really remember what I covered in there, I highly recommend you check out that video. But I'll cover some of the same principles that we talked about in part 1 here right now. Okay, so what are we doing? So basically we're gonna play, I like to make this, at least to start, a one measure phrase. You can of course extend it or even shorten it. You can do eventually whatever you want, but I think the one bar phrase is a great way to get into this pattern, and it's also a great way to just get good repetition in on the 8th triplet side and the 16th triplet side. And then of course, you know, that can be helpful for creativity and inspiring, you know, ideas for drum fills on the full kit, and there's all sorts of stuff. And as I say in all of these type of videos, this is always gonna develop your hand technique better. It's always gonna help your inner clock. It's going to help with your dynamics and your control. So there's so many things that you can get out of this one little exercise, just like so many of the other exercises we've learned in previous DrumShed videos. So, all right, so the basic pattern is 2 beats, beats 1 and 2, 8th note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, or if you count it this way, 1 and 2 and Then beats 3 and 4, you're gonna switch it up into 16th triplets. So if you're not sure what a 16th note triplet is or how it's played, I think the simplest way to think of it for right now is you're squeezing 6 hits inside of the space of 1 beat. So on the first 2 beats, we played 3 hits or 3 notes per beat. For the 16th note triplets on beats 3 and 4, you're gonna play 6 hits or 6 notes inside of beat 3 and also inside of beat 4. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. Now, obviously, I was kind of freestyling it there, no metronome, and there was no real accents. Now, before we actually add some accents into it, in part 1, I talked about kind of 3 bullet points that connect to a free PDF I linked in the description. So if you click the link in the description below here, you'll get that PDF, and you'll also get the PDF for today's video. The first PDF from part 1 only focused on what was in part 1. I'll include that here below, so click that link. But there will be also a link for the notation from today's video, so the 8th triplets and the 16th triplet exercises. But there are bullet points. When you check out the PDF, you'll see these bullet points. And basically those are just dynamic range ideas for practice. So you could have like very soft, unaccented notes and very loud accented notes. Or you could have medium soft, unaccented notes and medium loud accented notes. Those are just some examples. You'll see it written on the page when you get the link below. But what does that mean? You know, medium soft, medium loud, very loud, or just plain loud, or just plain soft. Basically, for us drummers, that's referring to our levels or our stick heights, meaning how high or how low the stick is coming up off the drum. That usually means that, you know, if you're playing very close to the drum, you have a rather soft dynamic range. If you play very high, where the stick height is coming up super high off the drum, you have a louder dynamic range, or volume is another term. But this is just, what we call developing our dynamics. So that's our ability to play loud, soft, and everywhere in between. These are a great way to do that, these exercises. Okay, so let's put it with the metronome. So there's, on the PDF, like I mentioned below, we're gonna shift one accent in the 16th note triplet part. So you're gonna practice playing an accent on each of the 6 notes in beat 3, and then practice playing an accent on each of the 6 notes in beat 4. And then the bonus option, and I also added this in part 1, the bonus option is to play the 8th note triplets on beat 1 and 2. So all 6 of those notes on beats 1 and 2, play all of them as accents as well. That just gives you some extra practice with accents within the pattern. But when you see the notation on the PDF, there's the typical version is no accents on the 8th triplets. So adding accents on the 8th triplets is a bonus, I don't know what that is, a bonus, and I highly encourage you to do that. It's just a great addition into the practice time. It's, there's so many ways to just use some of these one-bar phrases. You can develop so much for your drumming with them if you just tweak certain elements of it. Okay, but in today's video, really quick, because I know I'm talking a lot, we're just going to cover 2 of the first 2 options that you'll find on your PDF, your free PDF. So that's going to be accenting beat 3, so the first of the 16th note triplets, and then we'll do one accenting the 2nd note of beat 3 of the 16th note triplets. So I've got the metronome set to 60. So 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 triplet, like that, right? 3, 4, here we go. Okay, let's go to 80 so you get a little bit more of the flow. Okay, so that is playing just the accent on beat 3 in the measure. And I wasn't playing super soft, but I also wasn't playing super loud for the unaccented notes. I definitely want to make sure you can hear it. But you want to play with all sorts of different dynamic ranges there. All right, now let's add an accent. We'll do one more example, and that'll be shifting the accent to the left hand. So I started that whole pattern with my right. So on beat 3 that I just played, my accent was on my right hand. But we're going to shift it now to the 2nd note within beat 3 of the 16th note triplets. So that is going to fall to my left hand. Let's go back down to 60 and give that a try. That was 60, let's go to 80. There you go. All right, so that's the idea. And again, the main part of this video is just to just give you an idea, give you an example. So click that link below, get all of the different exercises. It's a free PDF. You can download it, print it out, download it to your tablet, your phone, your computer, whatever. and just have fun with these exercises. I recommend playing them on a pad or on your snare drum first, and then you can explore with, you know, all of the different versions that you have on that paper, with moving it around the kit. So placing maybe the accents on the tom drums or on the crashes. If you play an accent on the crash, I would also, you know, add a kick drum with the crash. That's just a really cool sound, and it's a great way to also, you know, kind of change up your fills a little bit. So what I demonstrated today was just the first 2 exercises on the PDF below, but that accent is going to shift all the way across. It's also going to go into beat 4. So you'll play the first note on beat 4, then you'll play the second note on beat 4, and the third note, meaning that you'll play the accents on those. You'll just shift it all the way down. And remember, like I said at the beginning of today's video, once you've practiced it as written on the paper, then take the 8th note triplets and make those accents. So you have like 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Okay, so that was just a rough example with some very loud accents where I have big stick heights, but those were all the 8th note triplets. So you can do that, and then what's really cool is, like, what if you orchestrated that in an interesting way across the toms and the snare and the cymbals and things like that? That could be super cool. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. This was part 2 of developing our single stroke accents. The main thing, again, today, the main difference between part 1 and part 2 is the subdivision of note that we chose. In part 1, it was 8th notes and 16th notes, and today in part 2, it was 8th note triplets and 16th note triplets. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, if you found it helpful, I'd be so grateful if you hit the like button. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, you know, hit the subscription bell thing, or hit the bell so you get the notification. I mean, you know, do all the YouTube-y stuff if you like it. And if you don't, you know, don't watch this video, don't share it, you know, that's cool. I totally get it. But anyway, thank you. Regardless, thank you so much for being here. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you have a very blessed day.